All systems go. Cleared for takeoff.
We're back talking some baseball. Hope everybody out there had a good weekend. It was another good weekend in the MMA streets for my man, Hebrew Cheeto, Rio, Hebrew Cheetah, not Cheeto. Back-to-back, $77,000 or something like that. So wanted to shout out you right away, Rio. But in the golf streets, saw a lot of good screenshots and MLB screenshots over the weekend too. Now we got 8 games to talk about. Coors Field on the slate. Excited to talk some baseball with you, Nades. How was your weekend? You said last time we talked Friday. Going to the T-Rats game. How was that? Said you were going to do some golfing. How was that? And you said you had a softball tournament. How was your weekend, Big Nades?
Well, so weekend started out fantastic. Tipped a couple cold ones back with second family over here. My best friend, his kids, some other people enjoyed some brews at the old Rattler Stadium until about the 7th inning stretch came around, and tsunami came through, about 40-mile-an-hour wind, tsunami. So we got out of there, went home, did some drinking, lost power at about 12:30 in the morning. Luckily, I had the AC running cranked, so it was nice and cool, and I was able to get to sleep before the power came back on, and my room wasn't a million degrees. But yeah, no, it started off good. Golf went good. Saturday, first softball game, last play didn't matter. Trotting because it was a freaking pop up to the infield, and I hit a footprint in the infield, and here my tendon snap in my ankle. My side of my ankle hit the freaking dirt. I went down like freaking dude in the tree sniped me across the field. It didn't feel good. Ankle's all purple. It's swollen. I can't even put my shoe on. But we got it KT taped up. We're ready to rip. Got an ankle brace. Went golfing last night. Was able to still golf. So that's all that matters. Going to put the softball bats away, Title, and we're going to stick to the real sport and golf there. But now looking forward to this little 8-game slate here. Definitely interesting slate. I mean, we got Coors Field. We got the D-backs who have been scuffling a little bit, now heading to Coors Field. Going to get tons of ownership. We got a lot of pitchers that are getting condensed ownership on too. So going to be interesting. But overall, yeah, it was a good weekend. Good weather here in Wisconsin, and it's rained all day today. So spent a lot of time inside. Went to the gym. Kind of the standard usual Monday stuff here.
Yeah, no thing. I like me some rain, but not as much rain as you guys get there. The cloudy, dreary. I was on the FaceTime with the fiance, and I saw all it was just clouds, no bit of sunshine. Can't do that over here. Had to move to Arizona partly for that reason. The sunshine every day. Wake up, get some vitamin D, get that warm weather. Don't even have to check what's going on in the weather app. Rio Goat Nate says, yes, he is. Let's see who else we got in chat today. Again, 8 games. That's a nice little sweet spot. Pitching, like you said, definitely some concentrated ownership. Hitting, definitely concentrated ownership as well. Diamondbacks heading into Coors Field. Tier of their own, a 7.7. It's down a little bit, but over a 17 total. No one else within a run, but we'll touch on that. Who do we got in the YouTube chat today? Resist Collectibles in here. Jackson here. Bill B. Mike Carr. Creative Thinking. Bump. Sean. Kid Lyman. Dalton's in here. Sean B. Warren Tyler. Beetle Bane. Kate Ped. Trevor Bryan. Just mentioned you. Optimal Prime. Parabai in here. Nymphu in here. Smooth in here as well. Appreciate everyone out here hanging out. Hope everybody had a good weekend. Having a good Monday. All we ask from you, like button, subscribe button, takes 2 seconds out of your day, helps us out a ton. And if you aren't a member, there's no better time to become one. Talked about it last Friday. Our SHIPIT bundle 3-2-1 blast off went live with the NFL season coming up. 4 Sundays, man, 4 Sundays till we'll be talking some NFL. This package right here, you sign up, you get 6 months to offer that gets the $321, what we got right now, $59 a month, all the way down to $53 a month. And after this bundle ends, September 11th, which is the Monday Night Football game, our monthly pricing will be going up from $59 to $69 with NBA right around the corner, NHL right around the corner, still going MLB. NFL will be here. $59 a month, going up to $69 a month. So this deal right here gets you roughly $53 a month for 6 months. All the sports, NFL will be going on, NBA will be going on, NHL will be going on, MLB. October is when regular season ends. Then we got the playoffs there. PGA still going on, MMA. So many sports. Such a busy time of the year coming up. Can't beat this price. You get tools, projections, stack rankings, DVP rankings, some content we didn't talk about, some shows that's going to come up that most people in the industry doesn't have, as well as core plays, showdown content, literally everything you need to be successful in NFL. NBA will be here. Nade's crushes NHL. There's just no better deal in the industry. So check that out at SHIPITNation.com. If you do join, get in the Discord. And last thing, when you do join using that bundle, you also get 4 hours of Hoop and Tambo talking everything you need to know coming up to the NFL season. Talking Millie Makers. Hoop won the Millie Maker last year. Qualifiers, Tambo, multiple live final seats there. Cash versus GPPs. Showdown process. Any questions you guys have was answered, and that can be answered in the Discord too. So much info to cover there. Awesome stuff from our guys, Tambo and Hoop, and that is going to be $69 a month. Just that education video. Get it for free when you do sign up. Lastly, got to shout out our partner, Drafters. Drafters.com. Use that promo code SHIPIT. $20 to $100. They will match 100%. Looks like some overlay in that best ball tournament. Big Marley and I will be we do draft every single week. That's enough of that though, Nades. Have to shout out that deal though. Would love you guys, if you're not a member, to join us at SHIPIT Nation for the NFL year. Very, very excited for everything we have to offer. All right, Nades, not game by game, pitching, 8-game slate. Let's go 8K and above. Only 6 pitchers up here. But Max Scherzer will come in, I think, the most popular on the slate. Him and Mikolas, looks like Mikolas 7K, the nut matchup against Oakland, look like the 2 most popular pitchers on the slate. However, Tyler Glasnow, 200 below Max Scherzer right there. Pretty much the same K prop, both of them 7.5, pretty much even money. Logan Gilbert coming off a monster against the Padres. Max Fried, Yu Darvish, Merrill Kelly round out this range. Merrill Kelly definitely will be the lowest owned in this range. Him and Max Fried, that is. Everyone else gets some ownership, I think. But Scherzer, Glasnow, the 2 highest owned in this top range. What are you doing 8K and above?
Yeah, I think if salary cap wasn't an issue, I'd say just play Glasnow and Scherzer together. But obviously there is big bats on the slate. I mean, D-backs have some expensive pieces in Coors Field. Obviously we have the Braves on the slate. Cardinals have some expensive pieces. The Mets and that Pirates game has a good total. 2 bad pitchers on the mound, pretty good hitting conditions. So I'm personally going for ownership up here. I mean, I'm seeing Scherzer and Glasnow 30+% owned, both of them, at least projected right now. I'm going to go down a little bit. Max Fried. I'm kind of planting my flag on Max Fried here. I like the Atlanta offense quite a bit against Clark Schmidt here. Max Fried ranks very good in our pitcher rankings. Got the best strikeout matchup on the board in terms of facing this New York Yankees team. I mean, yeah, you have Judge, you have Stanton, you have some of those guys in this lineup. I haven't seen the confirmed lineup, but I mean, Jake Bauers, 47% strikeout rate on the road against lefties. Aaron Judge, 44% strikeout rate on the road against lefties. Yeah, there is some home run upside that does come with that, but I mean, Billy McKinley strikes out right around 30%. So I think Max Fried, he's got 26% K rate on the year, going to limit hard contact, pretty solid at home. Give me Max Fried at sub 10% ownership at 9,400. He's my SP1 up here at the top. I just like the discount you get off of the top guys, Glasnow and Scherzer. I like the discount and ownership. I love that. Gilbert's my second favorite up here. Gets this Kansas City team. It's not the best hitting conditions in Kauffman Stadium, which has been crazy to see. I mean, it's 61 degrees and raining here in Wisconsin right now. Kansas City, not too far away. I'm seeing temperatures in the 70s, kind of wind blowing straight across the field. So Logan Gilbert, I don't like targeting pitchers coming off a ceiling performance, but now gets a Kansas City lineup and nobody really wants to play Logan Gilbert. I'm seeing 10 to 15% ownership on him. He's got a 25% K rate on the year. Yeah, this Royals team doesn't strike out a ton at home, at least, especially as of late. I mean, 18.5% as a team at home against righties. But Logan Gilbert, obviously pitching the ball really good right now, coming off a great game. Pretty solid pitching conditions in Kauffman, which is pretty unique to see. So I do like him. Yu Darvish is going to get a lot of ownership here against Baltimore. I mean, 30 to 40%, probably somewhere in there, 25% plus. I like the other guys. I like Gilbert more. I like Max Fried more than Yu Darvish. I kind of approach these San Diego pitchers the same. I mean, Blake Snell, Darvish, when they're getting ownership, I'm just not going to go to them, especially against a team like the Orioles, who, yeah, they do strike out, but I mean, they can be pesky, they can steal bases, they can hit home runs. So I'm going to be out on him. So up here, it's really, I mean, I got interest in three guys in particular. Max Fried, number one. Logan Gilbert, number two. If I have the salary, I would go up to Glasnow as my third. I'm going to be out on Max. I'm going to be out on Yu Darvish in this range. And then the interesting talking point is Merrill Kelly. Merrill Kelly gets Colorado at home in Coors Field. Obviously the best hitting conditions on the slate, but this Rockies team still strikes out at a 25% clip against right-handed pitching. Merrill Kelly's been solid. I don't love it, but, I mean, nobody wants to go to him, and he's just 8,100. I mean, he's got a very healthy projection. Sub 10% ownership, and he gets to face this Rockies lineup. So I do like Merrill Kelly up here too, because nobody's really playing him, and 8,100 is a nice price point.
Yeah, it's always tough for me to click anybody in Coors Field. Big favorite is Merrill Kelly, though. I don't think ownership really follows. Again, I don't like clicking it. A lot of people don't like it. Brady Singer, just for 200 more, I have even projecting better. Ownership probably eats into each other, but 6.5K it's the third highest K prop for Merrill Kelly on the slate. 6.5, some juice on the over. So at 8-1, don't think it's crazy one bit. How I see it, I think Max will be probably over-owned with the amount of pitchers on this slate. Like Gilbert can match him. We just saw last week. Tyler Glasnow, definitely. I mean, people are talking about Glasnow. He hasn't pitched in 2 weeks. Back spasms is the reason for that. Sean V did bring up, though, he did throw a bullpen session Friday. I'm not really worried about the back spasms for him. The upside, all there, 7.5, juice on the over, biggest arm on the slates, has the most upside. Good matchup against San Fran. Good pitching weather as well. It's like 65 degrees in San Francisco. He's my favorite up top. I like chasing the upside. I think you get an ownership discount with everyone going Scherzer for 200 more too. So he's my favorite in that range. I agree with I'll go Max Fried number 2 as well. This Yankees team, you navigate a couple of these big bats. The bottom of the order is not scary at all. The Braves should have some run. Fried should have some run support as well. And you look at our rankings over here, grades out very well. Number 1, I'll let everyone give a free one if you guys are watching, not a member. Number 1 is Max Fried in our pitcher rankings here. Probably gets squeezed, though. I think more people go Darvish for 700 less. More people go Scherzer for sure. Probably even more go Glasnow. So I think he does get squeezed a little in that range. So I'll go Glasnow 1, Fried 2. Still would be Max Scherzer 3, though. I'm not going to chase that Logan Gilbert game against the Padres. So let's keep it moving. 8K and below. I mentioned Miles Mikolas gets the best matchup against Oakland. Very chalky. Should be probably SP. He might even be the chalkiest on the slate. I have it Scherzer by a little bit, but I wouldn't be surprised at that 7K price tag. Some big bats you want to pay for on this slate. If he does come in the most popular, there is options right there, though. Brady Singer, 7.9. Think he might get some good matchup, at least a high upside matchup against Seattle. Grayson Rodriguez, we always touch on him. Big upside arm there. 5.5K prop. Outside of that, though, man, not too many arms. Patrick Sandoval, maybe. I don't really want to attack Texas in this matchup, though. So Singer, Grayson Rodriguez, Mikolas, I definitely need you to talk about Nades than anything else you like 8K and below.
Yeah, I'll hit on Mikolas in his 50+% ownership right now at 7K. I mean, I'm going to fade that right off the top. Number 1, I mean, he's got a 16.5% K rate on the season. I get it, right? It's these Athletics. Athletics just did some damage last night. Obviously, Sunday baseball, crazy shit happens. But, I mean, 50% ownership on a pitcher that has a sub 18%, sub 20% strikeout rate, I just can't do it. I mean, looking at this Athletics confirmed lineup, I mean, there's 6 right-handed bats in this lineup, Mikolas against righties, 12.5% strikeout rate over the last 30 days. I mean, you're going to take your chances with the rest of the field. Everyone's going to play the same guy. They're going to go Scherzer. They're going to go Mikolas. I know that's the cash pairing right now. I'm going to take my chances. I like a guy right below him, $600 cheaper. Grayson Rodriguez, big-time arm. Nobody's going to play him. It's a scary matchup against San Diego. I get it. But there is still strikeouts in the San Diego lineup. Grisham's 30%. Garrett Cooper's 26%. I mean, Ha-Seong Kim's 26% at the top. So Grayson Rodriguez, I get it. It's scary, but 6,400, I mean, for a very, very sub 5%, probably 2% owned. Grayson Rodriguez is going to be cheaper than Mikolas. I like him. And then I like Brady Singer up at the top. Brady Singer's probably going to get some ownership, but gets a Seattle team. He's been great at home. Again, I already mentioned the pitching weather in Kauffman Stadium. Pretty favorable for obviously a very hitter-friendly park. Wind kind of blowing straight across the field, 70 degrees, kind of cold spell. We were seeing 90-plus degree temperatures in the Midwest the last, I don't know, felt like month and a half. Now that's obviously kind of shifting the closer we get here to fall. So I like Brady Singer. He's been great, been fantastic as of late, been good at home. I mean, sub 20% ownership on him at 7,900. I do like him quite a bit. I'm out on Clark Schmidt against the Braves. I love the Braves bats here tonight. JP Sears against St. Louis. I can't do it personally. Like I said, I mean, the other guy that's interesting in here is Patrick Sandoval. And the reason I bring that up is he does rank pretty well in our pitcher rankings. I don't love it. I don't love picking on an offense like Texas on this slate, but I mean, he ranks pretty well. Doesn't have the greatest strikeout matchup or anything. Again, Texas offense, Texas is better at home, but I like Texas much better against right-handed pitching. So they do struggle a little bit against lefties. I personally, I don't think can do it. So to be honest, I have two pitchers I have interest in down here. It's Brady Singer up at the top. And then if I'm going down lower and need some salary, I'm going Grayson Rodriguez with the big arm. I think he can get some strikeouts against the Padres, but really no interest in anyone else down here, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't love this range either. Brady Singer is definitely my favorite. Like, if Mikolas was 15% owned or something, yeah, I would like Mikolas. But you're talking 50%, 40, 50, something along those lines. I mean, over-owned is how I see it for sure. I'd rather eat the max chalk or the max ownership than Mikolas. And, like, I like Glasnow right in that range. It is viable on the slate. There's always enough cheap ads. Like, I don't think Scherzer Glasnow is the craziest thing. Singer is definitely my favorite in this range, though, 7.9K. He does crack my top three, too. Grayson Rodriguez, yeah, I like everything you said about him. Just chase him the upside always at that price tag. He goes out there, he gets you 10. You're not totally dead, and he does have upside for 25, which most people don't in that range. Sandoval, yeah, he did us good recently. It's just I don't love picking on Texas. That probably hits the X there. JP Sears against the Cardinals, no thanks. I'm not playing – someone mentioned Clark Schmidt. Don't love picking on the Braves. Definitely side with the Braves in that matchup. So, yeah, down here it's probably just Singer, Grayson Rodriguez. I think Mikolas playing him, like leaving him in your player pool. Like if you go Merrill Kelly, Mikolas, no one's going to play that pairing. Or a Logan Gilbert, Mikolas. Like if you go a lower owned SP2 or lower owned 5-man stack, don't think it's crazy because he is only 7K. But, yeah, how I rank pitching total, I got Glasnow 1, Brady Singer 2 with the price. Fried and Scherzer right there, 3-4 is how I'll say my top 4 on this slate. What do you see?
Yeah, I'm going Max Fried number 1 for me. Glasnow number 2. I will go Grayson Rodriguez 3, and then Brady Singer 4. So 2 top end guys, 2 mid tier or cheaper guys. That's kind of how I'm building teams tonight. One topper, one higher price pitcher, and one kind of mid-tier pitcher, and fit your bats and stacks around that. So that's where I'm at. Those are my top 4.
I like it. Sean B's bringing up the hometown game. This time Clark Schmidt. I can't remember exactly. Was it Giolito or Cease? I can't remember what they ended up doing in that game. David Porter, nice call on the Cards. Friday night, that game stack at Wainwright, the gift that keeps on getting. The Cards did get the job done too. So we had a couple people in chat that I didn't say hi to when I was talking. I think Optimal Prime came in here. Brian Durkee, I already did mention K-Pad. I think I might have missed the names too high up there when I was doing the promo. But Jimmy in here. Appreciate everyone hanging out with us on this Monday. Let's get those likes up. 230 watching, 50 likes. The like button helps us out a ton, giving you free shows on this channel every single day. And again, if you do want to be a member at chipination.com, new promo came up, blast off bundle 321 6 months from now all the way until football season ends, Super Bowl Sunday. You will get 6 months content, $53 a month it comes out to. Will be $69 a month after September 11th. That $59 that's going on right now goes up to $69 with so many sports coming. NBA, an absolute grind. NHL, MLB still going on. PGA, MMA, everything you need to be successful. One low price. Use that Blast Off bundle 321. Get you 6 months for roughly $53 a month. Game by game nades. Let's do it. Very curious to hear who you like on this slate, because concentrated ownership for sure. The Braves might get a little. Their price tags will keep it down a little bit, but the Diamondbacks heading into Coors Field, definitely the chalk of the slate. First game, 5 minutes after lock time than usual, 7:10 Eastern. Pittsburgh Pirates, New York Mets. Quinn Priester, Carlos Carrasco on the mound. This Priester guy probably goes about 4 or 5 innings, and you get this Pirates bullpen. Decent team total for the Mets, sitting around 5. I think they get a little ownership. Bottom of the order has some cheap pieces. Middle of the order, Alonso, Lindor, you got to pay for. They fall down the list a little for me in a vacuum, but I think they might come in. I think they're probably appropriately owned are these Mets. And if you want to go to these Pirates, plenty of cheap options. If you wanted to go like Glasnow, Scherzer, 5-man stack, some expensive teams. No one above, actually Brian Reynolds, the only one coming off a double dong above 4K, multiple pieces, 5 through 9, all 3K and lower. I think you could do crazier with the Pirates too as a mini stack. Don't love it as the 5-man. What do you see in this first game in New York?
Yeah, give me the Pirates mini stack here against Cookie. Cookie has been more of a ground ball pitcher, but I mean, it's still right around 50%. I mean, the elite ground ball pitchers, we see 60, 65+% there. I mean, he's still allowing a 263 ISO over the last 30 days to the left side of the plate and just a 9% strikeout rate. Give me some Jack Sawinski at 3,300. He hasn't hit a home run in a while. I've been on Jack Sawinski early in the season when he was going crazy. He's got a couple doubles over his last 4 or 5 games. Usually that trends in the right direction to start hitting some for power. When you start barreling the ball up, getting doubles, hitting the ball to the gap, usually the ball goes over the fence eventually. I think it's coming tonight here. I love Jack Sawinski, 3,300 in the cleanup spot. And then a little pair him up with his little lefty switch hitting catcher, Endy Rodriguez. I love that mini stack there. 4-6. 2,700, 3,300, because guess what? I compare those with my 5-man Braves. I'm pushing the chips on the Braves again tonight. We'll get to that in the next game. I already saw some weather comments in the chat. It is by far the warmest game by far on the entire slate is that in the Braves in Truist Park. I don't care that he's got his whole siblings, his grandma, his dog, his Susie. I mean, whoever's in the house for Clark Schmidt, I don't care. I'm still stacking the Braves. So give me the Pirates cheap mini stack. I mean, all these guys are super cheap. You mentioned it, Tito. This confirmed lineup, one guy over 4K. Rest of them, I mean, majority of them are sub 3K. Pagura hit a bomb last night, right? I believe 2,800 at second base, shortstop eligible. But yeah, my 2 favorite bats are definitely Sawinski, Endy Rodriguez. Then I would go to the other lefties. Brian Reynolds, obviously. Alfonso Rivas, I think, is fine. And then obviously the righties, if you're looking to stack them up more. I'm not 5-man stacking the Pirates, but I do think the Pirates are good plays here. I tend to always stack against Carrasco. It tends to do me pretty well. On the other end, these Mets, I mean, I think the Mets are good plays too because Quinn Priester has not been good at all. Stacked against this guy every start he's made me money every single time. So I do like these Mets. I mean, Nemo, Pete Alonso, Francisco Alvarez. I wish that the Mets had some other cheaper bats that I was looking at, like Omar Narvaez and some of those other guys in there. But Alvarez, 3,900, fine catcher play. I think he's fine. Mark Viento, sure, he's fine. He's a little bit boomer bust with the strikeout upside, but he's priced appropriately at 2,400 at third base. I think is a favorable price point for him. Lindor, Nemo, those guys at the top. So definitely prefer the Pirates side. I think on this one is more of a mini stack, but I think this is a great game to see some runs in. I mean, it's pretty good hitting weather in Citi Field. I mean, 80 degrees, wind blowing out, 12 mile an hour, double-digit wind pretty much the entire duration of the game, blowing out to left field. So do think we see runs in this one. I don't think it's the craziest game stack on the board because if anyone's going to game stack, they're going to go to probably Coors Field, to be honest with you, at least a 5-man stack for sure from Coors. So this is a game that I think goes a little bit overlooked. And I like both sides of it a decent amount here.
Yeah, the more you were talking, the more I liked it even more too. I mean, if I had a game stack one game, it would be this game. Coors Field, yeah, in a vacuum, gun to my head, I'm picking that one to score more runs, but I think the ownership's higher, especially on the Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks side will have total combined ownership of both these teams. Cheap pieces on the Pirates, been picking on Carrasco, prefer the lefties. Like Brian Reynolds, he's been on a heater, 4.3K only in the two hole. Over 80 degrees in New York, second best hitting weather on the slate. And yeah, this Quinn Priester guy, no good at all. So these Mets have been a little hot as of late. The bottom of the order, like you only can play one of Alonso and Vogelback, which isn't great, but that'll make they both eat into each other's ownership right there. It makes the stack a little lower owned. Cheap pieces at the bottom. Lindor, yeah, no, sign me up for this game. The more I looked at it, there's a couple teams I do like more, but as a game stack, and when you take into account ownership, pricing, and everything, one of my favorite games on the board right there. Two pitchers I'm not afraid to target. So I like it. Let's keep it rolling. Next game, New York Yankees, Atlanta Braves, Clark Schmidt, Max Fried. Got a 9 total, and you mentioned best hitting weather, almost 90 degrees in Atlanta. In the middle of August, yeah, a lot of these spots, low 70s, even in the 60s, late in New York or in San Francisco as usual, but 88, 90 degrees here. Gotta love it for the Braves. Clark Schmidt, I mean, he's a solid, respectable pitcher, but this Braves lineup, top to bottom, Nicky Lopez all the way down there. You do get a sub 3K hitter, which is rare in this Braves lineup. But who's your favorites, 1 through 9? Are you going all of them? And any interest in these Yankee side?
Yeah, I'll tell you right away. Michael Harris just got bumped up big time in ownership. He's hitting in the 2-hole against a pitcher that struggles big time against lefties. So give me all of these lefties, all 4 of them in this lineup for the Braves. I mean, Michael Harris, Matt Olson, Eddie Rosario, Nicky Lopez. Love all those guys. Orlando Arcia, put him in my core already on the site. The dude's been crushing the baseball. Nobody plays him at his price point and his lineup position. He hits 8th for this team. But he is an all-star, fills a shortstop position that's pretty weak overall. You got Travis d'Arnaud in there tonight who smashes right-handed pitching, especially at home. He's got a nice price point at 4,300, so I like him quite a bit. Austin Riley is on an absolute heater, 9 home runs, I think, over the last 7 games, something like that. I love him here tonight. I love that his price point's up to 6,200. You really got to make some lineup decisions when you play these Braves. I think Acuna's fine always, every slate, but I actually like the other Braves more than Acuna, to be honest. I mean, 6,700 for Acuna is expensive. There's a lot of outfielders you can play, a lot of value outfielders like Sawinski, Michael Harris, obviously, Marcell Ozuna I love. So Acuna, it's crazy to say he's my least favorite, but it's just from a roster construction standpoint. Love all 9 Braves. I think they're all in play. Nicky Lopez probably going to get a little bump in ownership because we have not seen a cheap bat in this Braves lineup in, feels like 2 months. And now you get a 2,600 guy that has shortstop eligibility. So that makes me even like Arcia even more because people are going to play Nicky Lopez at shortstop. They're not going to play him at the outfield position. I have to assume they're going to play him at shortstop. Everyone likes to save salary at shortstop. Now you get him on the Braves at the shortstop position. So Arcia just dropped even more in ownership from what he already does. So that's why I like Arcia. I like the Braves. Love the Braves. My top stack of the night. Feels like it's deja vu every single time I come on here talking about the Braves. But 90 plus degrees. I don't care that there's slight wind blowing out. It's the most humid weather on all of the slate. And I like weather. I like good ballparks. I like good offenses. So that's where I'm going to the Braves. On the Yankee side, I do like Max Fried. Max Fried was my SP1. But if you're not playing Max Fried, Stanton, Judge, those guys smash lefties. Judge does strike out more. Stanton would be my preference if I need a one-off. He's cheaper as well, 4,600 for Stanton. Just a 3% strikeout rate on the season on the road against lefties. And expected ISO numbers of 450. So probably a good chance that Stanton might get into one here tonight in Truist Park, hit one out. But I still like Max Fried's upside, especially with the bottom of that order. If you got guys like Ben-R in there at the catcher position, McKinney, Bowers, those guys strike out a ton. So not a ton on the Yankee side, but yeah, sign me up for the Braves here.
Yeah, they had Higashoka down there, Cabrera, Volpe, Connor Falefa in the leadoff spot. You get through Judge, you get through Stanton. This lineup is not scary. And Fried's going to get squeezed a little bit. Don't love the weather when we're talking free, but with our rankings over here, free grades out really well. I think he gets squeezed. Everyone's either going to go the Scherzer route or they're going to save even more and go Singer, go Mikolas, something like that. Something to note, if you do a 5-man Braves, I think a lot of those stacks will have Mikolas as at least one of those pitchers because you can't go Glass now, Scherzer, 5-man stack these Braves. So Mikolas will be where a lot of people do go at SP2. Grayson Rodriguez in that range, though. Singer in that range. Sandoval, if you want to get really different. Little stuff like that. If you fade Mikolas and 5-man stack the Braves, you'll be even more different than most of the field. Keeping it rolling, Oakland Athletics, St. Louis Cardinals, JP Sears, Miles Mikolas, 9 total, 75 degrees in St. Louis. So the Cardinals have the 3rd highest team total on the slate behind the D-backs, behind the Braves. Them and the Braves are about the same, 4.4 for the Cards. I like the Mets more in a vacuum, and I think they're going to be lower owned. So I definitely like the Braves more too. So I think the Cardinals are the odd man out when we're talking highest team totals on the slate for me. I respect JP Sears more than I respect Priester, more than I respect Clark Schmidt. What are your thoughts on these cards? So I definitely would prefer, like if I'm playing them against the lefty, always Arenado, always Goldie, 5.8K, 5.6K though, breaking the bank right there. I'd just rather play for the Braves. But Wilson Contreras, Ben Hot, 4-hole, 3-6, fill out a catcher spots. Tyler O'Neill down there. Luke and Baker's free. So probably actually like if I do go to the Cards, I would go like Baker, who mid-price 2K, Jordan Walker 3K, Contreras 3-6 because I'd rather other spend ups. But what are your thoughts, Cards and A's?
Yeah, I don't mind the Cards. I still do think JP Sears is a pretty serviceable pitcher, but last 30-day numbers, 23 plate appearances against lefties. He's been awful against lefties, so I get it. It is lefty-lefty, but Nolan Gorman, last 30 days has good strikeout or good overall numbers, low strikeouts, good power numbers against lefty-lefty, so I don't hate him at second base. I don't hate Lars Nootbaar either. At the outfield position there, lefty. Tommy Edman batting leadoff at the shortstop position, 3.9K, I think is a good price point. Obviously, Goldschmidt, Arenado, Contreras, always against lefty. Those 3 guys mash left-handed pitching. So I think they're fine. I don't love the Cardinals, but I do think they're fine here. It's just I like other spots better. I mean, I'm seeing 77 degrees, right? Wind kind of blowing out to right center. So it is pretty good hitting conditions overall. Not the greatest hitter's park, but that doesn't really matter too much. I think if I'm going to this one, I actually prefer the athletic side. I mean, Geloff, hit 2 bombs last night. He's 4,500 at the second base position. Nobody's going to play him. Looking at Mikolas's last 30-day numbers here, I mean, 50+% of the field is going to play this guy. And, I mean, he's just not been great. I mean, low strikeout rate, especially against righties. I mean, sub 12%, 9.5%, I believe, against right-handed bats. So I don't hate some of these athletics power guys, especially Jordan Diaz. I think Jordan Diaz at third base, 2,900, I think is an excellent value play. Has a lot of power, low strikeouts guy there. I mean, I don't hate some of these athletics as mini stacks. A little double leverage there. Brent Rooker. I think if you want to go Brett Rooker, Jordan Diaz, 3,700, 2,900, I don't hate that little mini stack. Not 5-man stack in the athletics by any means, but they just scored some runs last night, hit some bombs. Wouldn't be crazy to see him do it again. Mikolas isn't an ace by any means, and he's being treated as one on the slate just because everyone looks at the athletics, looks at the implied run total and Vegas total for the Cardinals. I mean, he's a huge, heavy favorite. Price point, salary, projection, everything points to playing him. So I actually prefer the athletics as a leverage spot here over the Cardinals.
Makes a lot of sense to me. I mean, due to just the pricing, who's in the range in 7K, like Mikolas projects so much better than the guys in his range with the best matchup. That is what's going to get him. And people want to play the Diamondbacks in Coors. They want to play Scherzer or Glass now. Just the nature of the slate leads you to an SP2, a cheapie in that range. So he's going to be over-owned, I believe. Get all the leverage from the A's, guaranteed ninth inning at bats here. It's not like Mikolas is going to go. I mean, I think he's like 5.5K prop juice on the under. Doesn't miss many bats. So you definitely can do crazier than Oakland. Many of these bats very cheap as well. Probably limited to a 3-man than a 5-man, but and just hope you get the right power bats or they make Mikolas work. He leaves 5th inning, 4th inning, and other guys outscore him that range. But yeah, the A's make some sense. Again, I prefer it as a mini. The Cards, don't think it's the craziest thing by any means. I just like the Braves more. I like the Mets more in a vacuum, talking in the upper tier. So they'd be left out for me if I'm only making a couple lineups. But yeah, 9 total, one of the highest team totals for the Cards, most leverage for the A's against Mikolas. Can make the case for both sides, no doubt about that. We'll keep it rolling again. Over 250 watching. Appreciate everyone hanging out. Hope everybody having a good Monday. We'll be having a little butter Monday if you do hit that like button for us. 1 second out of your day helps us out a ton. Next game, Los Angeles Angels, Texas Rangers, Patrick Sandoval, Max Scherzer on the mound, 8.5 total. Scherzer, one of the highest owned pitchers too. If you want to go to the Angels, the game theory route, you can do that. Same case to be made. We just made for the A's against Mikolas. I'd rather pick on Mikolas than I would Max Scherzer, though, so that's why I'd rather go to the A's than the Angels. As far as the Rangers, I respect Patrick Sandoval enough, and a lot of these bats, Dolis Garcia 5.8K, Semien 6.1, Seager 6.3, lefty. Like, I'd rather go to the Braves. I'd rather go to the Mets. They kind of fall in the same boat as the Cardinals for me, where there's just other spend-up teams I like more. I'd even like the Cardinals more than the Rangers, so I'm going to say complete cross-off for me in this one. What about you?
Yeah, no Angels for me. I'm going to attack a chalky pitcher that's got a 9% strikeout rate to one side of the plate and 16.5% strikeout rate overall on the season. And he's going to be fifth, but pretty much the same ownership as Max Scherzer. Scherzer still has a 27% K rate on the year. It's just a price point thing for me for Scherzer, 11K. I love the Braves, 5-man in the Braves, so I didn't have the salary to get up to Scherzer. So that's the reason there. No Angels for me. Obviously, you can always play Ohtani, but you are paying for him. He is 6,600. I think if I'm paying that, I'd rather go to Acuna, but so would everyone else. So that's a little roster thing. Obviously, you don't need leverage at every position, every lineup spot on your DraftKings build or your FanDuel build, but always can play Ohtani. I mean, has 42 home runs. I think Matt Olson just passed him last game. He's 40 plus home runs on the year. Yeah, you can play him. We'll steal bases too. On the Rangers side, I think Corey Seager is an elite one-off option on this slate. 6,300, smashes lefties. It doesn't matter. And Sandoval, I mean, gets hit pretty hard against lefties. Over the last 30 days, a 231 ISO to the left side of the plate. But yeah, I mean, Sandoval, ground ball pitcher. I'm not going to stack up these Rangers. They do have a 5 implied run total, which I think is a little high against Sandoval. But Corey Seager, lefty. I think he's an elite option. If you have the salary, nobody's going to play him lefty at the shortstop. Go all the way up and pay up for upside, pay up for probability, play up for upside. Love Corey Seager there. And then the other guy, I'd be a failure to not mention him. My guy Zeke Duran down there, third base, shortstop eligible. 3,800. I mean, the dude smashes lefties. I love him. Can get you some stolen bases too. So just one-offs or, pretty much just one-offs, one or the other, Corey Seager or Duran, but really not a ton of interest in this one for bats.
You mentioned Zeke, and that's what I was looking at. Zeke Elliott, that is, to the Patriots. So 1 year, $6 million deal. Popped up on the phone, talking MLB, but always nice to see NFL news pop up, especially a name that I've clicked a lot in best ball, praying he would land up on a team. So Zeke to the Patriots. Back to baseball, though. Zeke Duran, Zeke Elliott. Which Zeke is better? Who knows at this point of their career? But we'll keep it rolling. Next game on the slate. A couple more to talk about. Seattle Mariners, Kansas City Royals, Logan Gilbert, Brady Singer. About 70 degrees in KC. Mentioned a lot better pitching weather than hitting weather. 8 total. Lowest on the slate. Tied for the lowest. Gilbert coming off a monster performance. Ownership won't be there, though, at 9.7K. So it's not like the Royals offer any leverage. Game theory aspect there. No, thank you. I'd rather go to the A's and get leverage off of Mikolas. As far as the Mariners against Singer, Singer, one of my favorites. Pitchers on the slates. You'll get them pretty low owned, guaranteed 9th inning at bats, but there's just other teams I like more on the slate. Give me the Pirates over them, right in that same range, similar pricing. So another X for me in this one. What about you?
Yeah, really no bats for me at all in this one. Let me just look at Gilbert's last 30 numbers real quick just to double check something. I mean, if I would go anywhere, it'd be the lefties because he does allow 30+% fly balls and 211 ISO against left side of the plate. Michael Massey, MJ Melendez, both playing pretty good ball right now. 3,100, 3K. Second base, outfield, I think are fine. Drew Waters, I think is fine as a value play, 2,500. Good numbers against right-handed pitching too. So lefties only for me on the Royals, but yeah, really no interest on either side of this one. I think both pitchers are good plays here tonight. Get it, Logan Gilbert. Not people don't want to chase it, but he is going to get squeezed up at the top. And he definitely has the upside in the tank. So I don't think he's the craziest. And then Brady Singer is one of my favorite lower priced pitchers on the slate, especially how he's been pitching, the pitching weather, all things kind of point to that. So really no bats in this one. I like both pitchers a decent amount here.
I like it. Lockstep on this slate so far. 3 games left. If you do want Nate's core plays, hoops thoughts, his favorite pitchers, favorite stacks, G Rison's on FanDuel, Hamwich on FanDuel. Play cash games. You get cash core from me on FanDuel, DraftKings, as well as projections, ownership projections. You need both of those in DFS. Stack rankings, hitter rankings, pitcher rankings, all of that up on the site, SHIPITNation.com. We got a promo code for you. NFL right around the corner. Talking about Zeke Elliott. $321 for the whole NFL season. That is 6 months. Gets you all the way to the Super Bowl. Comes out to $53 a month. And that also includes MLB going on, best ball, PGA, MMA. And during that time, NHL, NBA will be starting up as well. All of those sports, $53 a month. Will be $59 a month right now with no promo. That'll be going to $69 a month come September 11th. So no better time to get in. Use that blast off deal. 3 games left, Nate's Coors Field to talk about. Arizona Diamondbacks taking on the Colorado Rockies. 11 total in this one. Merrill Kelly, Chris Flexen on the mound. Pretty good hitting weather, especially talking the nature of this slate, about 80 degrees in Colorado. Chris Flexen, no good. Who even knows how long he's going to go. Then you get this Rockies bullpen. D-backs, DK did an okay job, I guess, pricing up Elise Carroll, Marte, Christian Walker above 5K. But these bottom of the order pieces, we don't have the lineup out yet, unless it came out a couple minutes ago. But plenty of cheap bats will be in this lineup. D-backs head and shoulders above the rest when it comes to ownership. There's enough. I think you could go like a Logan Gilbert, Grayson Rodriguez, Logan Gilbert, Brady Singer, Tyler Glasnow. I don't know, Scherzer. Like, people will go to the bottom of the order. But what I'm trying to say is there's enough pitching combinations on this slate that I think you can fade Scherzer, Mikolas, still play 5 D-backs. Obviously, be wary about how you play them. Mix in some lower-owned bats. But I don't think it's like you need to just completely cross them off because of ownership. Just, we always talk about it. When you are using the D-backs, especially as a 5-man stack, be cognizant on how you do use them so you're not holding hands with the same roster construction as majority of the field. But these Rockies usually like going to the other side of the chalk spots. I like a little bit of Merrill Kelly. I don't think the Rockies the craziest spot, but I like the Pirates with the same team total right in that range more. So really curious what you're going to do with these chalk D-backs.
Yeah, I mean, if this lineup stays and there's only 2 righties that stay in this lineup, Tommy Pham, Christian Walker, I think I'm going to be under on the D-backs here. I mean, they're implied to score 7 runs, which is absolutely ridiculous. But Flexen is not good by any means. But if there's one thing, if he's worse to one side of the plate, it's definitely to the righties. I mean, he's god awful against righties. 14% strikeout rate, ISO of 230, opposing bats, ground ball rate of just 35%, 34% fly ball rate. He's much worse against the right-hand side of the plate. He's probably only going to face 2 righties here. So that's kind of where I'm down on these guys. I mean, against the lefties, he's going to at least projected right now to face 7 lefties, obviously a couple switch hitters in there. They're going to hit from the left side of the plate with a righty in there pitching. I mean, 25% fly ball rate over this season and last season. That's not very good overall. And an ISO of just 139 to the left side of the plate. So I get it. Home runs isn't everything, but on a team that's head and shoulders above every other team on the slate in terms of ownership. They haven't been ripping the cover off the ball. If you pull up the box scores, I mean, they haven't scored over 5 runs in 8 or 9 games, something like that. And yeah, I get it. Flexen's bad, but I think this is a letdown spot overall here for the D-backs. So I'm going to be under on the D-backs. If I were playing them, I would play the expensive guys, right? Because people, I mean, that's one way to get different. Like if you grab like a Perdomo down there, if he's hitting the Arsenal at 4,100. He's going to be low owned. Corbin Carroll at 6K, Kettle Marte at 5,700. Skip Pham and go down to Christian Walker. I mean, play all the expensive bats, leave the cheap ones off. That's how I would play the D-backs personally, just as a little bit different roster construction. Because, I mean, if Alec Thomas is in there, Jake McCarthy in there, this Herrera guy in there, I mean, those guys are all 3K, sub 3K or 3,200. They're going to get tons of ownership because it allows you to play Max Scherzer. It allows you to play those top-end arms and get a team that's implied to score 7 runs. That's just not how I play. I play GPPs. I try and put my best foot forward and give myself the best chance up to the top. So that's why I'm under on the D-backs here tonight. On the Rockies, I don't love the Rockies, and I never loved the Rockies. So I haven't played Coors Field much at all, and I don't think it's going to change here tonight. I'm under on Coors Field overall. Nolan Jones, I think, is a fine play here. Going to hit probably in that middle of the order, 4,500, has power. Don't hate that, but yeah, I'm under on this game overall.
Yeah, the problem is, like, I still think Carroll's going to get ownership. Walker's going to get ownership. 1 through 9, I expect this team to get ownership. Again, I like the Rockies in this spot. Guaranteed 9th inning, one of the best hitter weather on the slate. Flexing's no good. Bullpen's not good. Like, I don't love just crossing it off. If you're only playing a couple teams, you got to make a bunch of stands. I like the rule more so if I'm 5-manning the D-backs, I wouldn't play Scherzer or Mikolas. Find 2 other pitchers on this slate, get different that way, get a little secondary stack that's off the board a bit, something like that. So eat 5-man chalk D-back stack, fill up in pieces around that are lower owned. If chalk D-backs go off, at least hope some chalk pitching busts and you get a leg up that way. But always be cognizant when you have a team like the D-backs that are head and shoulders above the rest when talking ownership on this slate. We got 2 games left, 4 teams that aren't going to get much ownership. Really only, that's when we talk about it. D-backs, Cardinals, Braves, I guess Mets, Pirates we can throw in. Like, outside of those teams, a lot of teams are going to be forgotten. Concentrated ownership at the top when it comes to stacks on this slate. 2 games left, Baltimore Orioles, San Diego Padres, Grayson Rodriguez, Yu Darvish, 70 degrees in San Diego, 8 total, 2 respectable pitchers. Definitely don't love the Orioles against Yu Darvish in this one. I'd have any interest, it'd be the Padres against Grayson Rodriguez just because he's more boomer bust, big arm. But control is okay. It's not like he's a Senga and stuff when it comes to walk problem, but can walk some. He can get hit around when the strikeout stuff isn't there. Doesn't have his best stuff. Balls will be in play. Padres team can turn over the lineup. Going to be very low owned. No one's playing Soto. No one's playing Machado. No one's playing Tatis. So many other better bats on the slate. So talking about it that way can make a case for at very low ownership. But in a vacuum, give me all these other teams we've talked about more.
Yeah, I'm with you. No interest in either side of this game. I like both pitchers quite a bit. Yu Darvish obviously going to be chalky up at the top, but I think it is a decent matchup here. I mean, Orioles do strike out 24% against righties. So yeah, no bats in this one. And I love Grayson Rodriguez is my favorite cheaper pitcher down low. I'm not playing any Mikolas. I would hit it in X. Even if I was playing MME, I would X out. I would much rather play Oakland stacks versus Mikolas versus play him. So out on bats in this one, pretty gross game overall. I like the early bats better on this slate.
Like it. We got 1 game left on the slate. Then we'll get you dog of the day, low-ish owned pitcher of the day. We appreciate that appreciate that subscribe button. Last game of the day, Nades, heading to San Fran. Pretty chilly. No interest in this one for sure for me. Tampa Bay Rays, San Francisco Giants. Tyler Glass now. Someone asking who this Ryan Walker cat was. It's going to be the opener for the Giants, 1 innings, 2 innings, something like that. Not expecting any more. Definitely do not play him, but I'm not playing the Rays against a bullpen game really in the Giants at 65 degrees. I'm definitely not playing the Giants against Tyler Glass now, who I like a lot. So easy cross off for me. That's what I'm saying. There's 8 games on this slate. Pretty good amount of them. Like 6 teams, it's like X, really easy. Outside of that, figure out the rest. That's how I see hitting, mix and match those teams. What about you?
Yeah, no bats in this one, not even one off. I'm not going here. 60 degrees, I'm just not going to play it. Ryan Walker, not going to target a bullpen game for sure, and definitely not targeting Tyler Glass. I don't care that it's his first start in a couple weeks. I think he's got elite strikeout stuff. I mean, 35% strikeout rate on the year. So no interest for me.
There we go, Nades. Great work. That is all 8 games on this slate. It's an interesting slate with Coors Field and then concentrated pitching. You know where to get different on this slate, where the ownership is going to be. Let's talk low-ish owned pitcher on this slate. I'm going Brady Singer, 7.9K. Gives you plenty of flexibility, whether you want to pay up at your other SP spot, pay down, pay up at hitting. I think Singer right in that range. Going to get some ownership. But pretty good pitching weather there. Brady Singer been good as of late. My favorite guy. Who is yours?
Yeah, I'm going up at the top. I'm going 9,400 in that Truist Park game. I expect him to have run support. I'm going Max Fried to navigate through the Yankees lineup, generate some strikeouts, and give us a bounce-back performance after getting shelled by the Pirates last game.
Love it. Going to get you the dong of the day again. Last time, shout out our partner at drafters.com. If you do not have an account, use that promo code SHIPIT. They will match 100% up to $100. And if you're not a member at SHIPIT Nation, want all of our content for MLB projections, ownership, stack rankings, hitter rankings, pitcher rankings, as well as core plays, core reports, head over to ShipItNation.com for 6 months. Comes out to $53 a month, $321 in those 6 months. NFL, NBA, NHL, NBA, best ball, PGA, MMA. You just cannot beat that deal. If you do join, get in the Discord. Dong of the day time, Nades. I'm going to the Mets. That Mets-Pirates game definitely caught my attention the more we talk through this slate. Filling out a weak catcher position right in the 5-hole. Francisco Alvarez takes Priester deep today. Who is your dong of the day, Nades?
I'm going to that same game, but I'm going to the other side of that game. I talked about him quite a bit, Mr. 3,300 outfield, hitting in the cleanup spot. Jack Sawinski getting back on the home run train here tonight.
I love it. Love that first game with the ownership. We kept talking about it. Give some Sawinski. I'll add in Brian Reynolds. Like him a lot. The lefties, the Pirates. Francisco Alvarez, take one deep. Great stuff, Nades. Again, you want Nades, see who Nades is on, his core plays. Head over to ShipItNation.com. Check out his core. Hamlet, She-Rise, and Hoop have done a great job as of late as well. Hit that like, hit that subscribe on the way out. Helps us out a ton. Let's see some Ship It Nation logos up top tonight. We'll be back tomorrow. As always, we'll see you in the Discord. For Nades, I'm Titletown. Good luck, everybody.